Hello and welcome to Nationwide. I am Dennis Adegunloye. Thank you for joining us. We'll begin with issues surrounding the fallout of the Super Eagles matter in Libya. The Confederation of African Football, CAF, has formally delisted the Nigeria-Libya second leg qualifying match while confirming investigations into the matter. Also, a Nigerian emerges president of the continental table tennis body. Olumide Eguntola brings us details of these and other trending stories in the world of sports.
While Nigeria's football authorities are concerned and reported the maltreatment and inhuman treatment meted out to Super Eagles players and officials to CAF, Libya is talking about losses arising from sale of tickets and threatening to approach Court of Arbitration for Sports.
All the evidences are in all is documented in aviation. We cannot hide anything. This is our flight plan, so we cannot say something which is not wrong, because there is a lot of cross-check and a lot of redundancy in aviation. So they cannot hide this information or say other than the truth.
Still on football matters, the handlers of Nigeria Deaf Eagles have reassured lovers of the game of retaining the West African Deaf Sports Union WASU title as hostilities continue at the games ongoing at the National Stadium, Surulere, Lagos. The Deaf Eagles started on a winning note, snatching the maximum 3 points at stake during the opening match.
To bring it back to the government, because the Minister of Sports, the senators, they know that it will be good for us, the deaf in Nigeria, and they will also be happy.
In another news, Nigeria's Waheed Eni-Itoshodi has been unanimously elected as the president of the African Table Tennis Federation, ATTF, at the 2024 annual general meeting of the continental body, holding in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Talking cricket, Team Edo has emerged champions of the third edition of Women Invitational Cricket Championship, organized by the Edo State Cricket Association in collaboration with Helping Hands Consultancy.
It was a very short game, but very interesting game.
In boxing, all is now set for the President Belt boxing bouts slated for the 26th of October in Abuja. The target of the organizers of the event, Awila Boxing Promotion, is to increase the desired attention professional boxing deserved.
I want the attention of the president. President will do a lot to these youths wasting their talent.
President Belt is headlined by the super middleweight contest between America's James Agler Jr. and Nigeria's Adeogunla Adebayo. With sports update, Olumide Eguntola, NTA News.
Now, pending the outcome of investigations by the Confederation of African Football, CAF, into the Super Eagles' ill treatment in Libya, Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Tugar says henceforth the ministry will ensure a briefing on the current situation of any host country before travelling. He was speaking when he received the NFF President Ibrahim Musa Gusau in his office at the ministry. Garba Natala reports.
Apart from reactions condemning Super Eagles' ordeal in Libya, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, also says it is investigating the unacceptable situation. Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Tugar warmly received the NFF President Ibrahim Musa Gusau and narrated their ordeal when they were held in that country.
We also tried to make an effort to see how we can get out and see how we can move ourselves to even have something to eat, but that was not accepted by the authorities that were meant to stay and put us under that hostage.
It's unfortunate, but it means also that we have to work closely together with the NFF.
It took diplomatic efforts made by the minister for the Libyan authorities to release players and officials to depart.
We had to engage with the foreign minister of the eastern side of Libya. And I believe it was only after that engagement that we were able to get concrete action and results.
Now, awaiting the decision of the Confederation of African Football after an investigation in regards to their unplayed match, The Nigerian team's fate is hanging in the balance whether they will qualify for the Africa Cup of Nations. In Abuja, Garba Muhammad Atala, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has condemned the ill treatment of members of the nation's senior team, the Super Eagles, and its delegation to a return leg of the 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifier in Libya. In a statement, Akpabio, while calling for a probe, also decried the antics and shameful behavior of the Libyan officials and authorities, saying the reported mistreatments of the players is not only unacceptable, but also a breach of the principles of fair play and sportsmanship. Meanwhile, the chairman, Senate Committee on Sports, Sumela Kawu, has called on the Confederation of African Football to investigate the unsportsmanlike actions of the authorities in Libya with a view to applying appropriate sanctions. And the House of Representatives has asked the federal government to invite the Libyan ambassador to Nigeria for questioning over the humiliating treatment meted out to Nigeria's senior football team, the Super Eagles, by the Libyan Football Federation. Adopting a motion by Representative Kabiru Amadu, the lawmakers also urged the Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, to make an official complaint to the Confederation of African Football, CAF, and the International Federation of Association Football, FIFA.
Despite their biting reply to a small airport with little or no amenities, the Libyan authority does not allow the team to get out of the airport or move to their hotel. No access to internet, no food. The airport was cordoned and they were held hostage for 18 hours.
This for me is an embarrassment, not only for the team, Nigerians, and also Africans. This matter deserves very, very serious and urgent investigation to make sure that similar incident does not occur in the future.
In other resolutions, the House mandated its Nigeria-Cameroon Friendship Group to investigate the agreement on release of water from the Lagdo Dam and mitigation measures with a view to finding lasting solutions to persistent flooding in parts of the country.
Meanwhile, the House is also called upon to mandate the Federal Ministry of Works and Water Resources and the Federal Ministry to mandate the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Federal Ministry of Works to expedite the completion of the Dasin Hausa Dam in Adamawa State, which will act as a buffer and help to absorb excess water released from Lagdo Dam and rehabilitation of critical infrastructure in flood-prone areas.
Also note, the recent flooding in Sokoto State, which resulted in the destruction of Sokoto, Goranyo, Sabon Birni, and Niger border roads.
Well, staying at the National Assembly, the Senate has passed for second reading a bill to establish the National Institute for Drug Awareness and Rehabilitation. The proposed legislation seeks coordination and promotion of drug awareness, prevention of substance abuse, and rehabilitation of drug users. Opinions were divided during the debate on the general principles of the bill. While legislators expressed support for all initiatives to combat the menace of drug abuse in Nigeria, some, however, pointed out that establishing the institute would lead to duplication of functions of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency and suggested rather the strengthening of the NDLEA to make it more effective. Meanwhile, a bill to establish the Nigerian Coast Guard to secure the maritime zones in Nigeria also passed second reading. Away from the National Assembly, Nigeria's headline inflation rose to 32.70% in September 2024 from 32.15% in August, marking a 0.55% increase. The latest inflation by the National Bureau of Statistics indicates that on year-on-year, inflation was up 5.98% points from 26.72% in September 2023. The increase was driven by higher prices in key categories of food and non-alcoholic beverages, 16.94%, housing and utilities, 5.47%, clothing, 2.50%, transport, 2.13%, household equipment, 1.64%, education 1.29%, and health 0.98%. The food inflation rate on a month-on-month basis in September 2024 was 2.64%, which shows a 0.27 increase compared to the rate recorded in August 2024, that being 2.37%. Bauchi, Sokoto and Jigawa recorded the highest annual inflation, while Sokoto, Taraba and Anambra led in monthly increases. Delta, Benue and Katsina saw the slowest annual rise. The Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adigboyega Oyetola, says Nigeria is taking a giant leap towards harnessing its marine and blue economy. The minister disclosed this at the official launch of the broad-based National Stakeholders Consultation Validation Workshop and development of the National Blue Economy Strategic Plan for Nigeria. Vivian Izadife reports that the three-day workshop brings together experts, policymakers and stakeholders to review, validate and finalize Nigeria's National Blue Economic Strategy document.
Nigeria is taking bold steps to harness its marine resources, with stakeholders gathering to review and finalize the National Blue Economy Strategy. The Minister of Marine and Blue Economy expressed gratitude to the African Union and the Kingdom of Norway for their support.
This document will serve as a roadmap for the sustainable development of the sector. Nigeria's journey into the blue economy concept began as a direct outcome of the 2018 African Union Conference under the visionary leadership of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, DCFR, and in line with the commitment to sustainable economic diversification and the Europe agenda of the administration. The blue economy has evolved from a mere concept to a strategic priority, leading to the creation of the Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy.
Other stakeholders, including the AU representative, believe that the actualization of this strategic plan will contribute towards implementing key policies and attracting projects to Nigeria.
The Commission continues to prioritize the blue economy as a key pillar for Africa's sustainable development, economic transformation, and resilience building.
And we have before us over 80 participants. Last time we had small, just 35, but now we have 80. To be sure that we'll go through the document and then look into the nitty-gritty of the strategy.
The outcome of this workshop is expected to pave the way for sustainable development, economic growth, and a brighter future for Nigerians. Vivian Izadife, NTA News.
In ensuring economic stability and financial security in the country, experts are calling for blocking of tax leakages across all the three tiers of government. This formed the thrust of discussions at the Maiden Revenue Assurance Summit put together by the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit in Abuja.
It is reported that Nigeria collects more than 60 levies across the three tiers of government with no much revenue to show. You might be wondering, what could be the problem?
Revenue leakages.
Well, as a body responsible for receiving and analyzing financial reports, the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, NFIU, is taking strategic steps to address this and support states' internal revenue services across the country, including the Federal Capital Territory. The aim is to equip the state's IRS with techniques that will establish efficient and effective system that will help block tax leakages and promote revenue assurance.
Nigeria is collecting barely 15% of the revenue. So it is very important that we have a process that upgrades gradually.
We recognize that our focus should shift towards internally generated revenue. Therefore, we need to have efficient and effective systems in place to ensure that everybody pays their fair share of the tax burden.
We can ramp up our revenue significantly, even from tax, by protecting the vulnerable people. So those who have been paying have been mostly the poorest people. That's why the revenue is small. So protect those people, give them exemptions, and then allow the people who have ability to pay to start paying, and that's where the money will come from.
Experts believe that the summit will increase revenue generation, especially now that local governments have financial autonomy.
All right, our first port of call is the Center of Excellence, and Hingano is our guide. Hello, Hingano.
Thank you, Dennis. Women and girls in rural areas often face challenges like illiteracy, lack of information and access to technology, gender-based violence, amongst others. These, some say, can be associated with gender power imbalances, poverty and lack of exposure. However, experts believe in order to address the challenges, partnership between private and government organizations must exist. Adejoke Odeka completes the story.
Women and girls play significant roles in various sectors all over the world. Despite their contributions, those who live in areas where access to health services, potable water, and education are limited are often subject to laws and social norms that discriminate against them, which affects their participation in decision-making processes, hence delaying productivity.
When it comes to lack of communication, like most women in the rural areas, they are like limited to only maybe primary schools, probably because most of them only think of their male children only excelling. Women are always limited to the kitchen. What they need right now is the government or any private sector to bring education or to provide good information for them.
Experts in agribusiness say since rural women contribute majorly to the agricultural sector, ensuring security and empowering them with modern agricultural techniques will help boost the nation's economy.
Women are very essential in the fulfillment of the three principal millennial goals that deals with agriculture. That's food security, hunger, and of course, health of the family.
They can begin to develop themselves for rural health management. So that means people should go from the city to give to them necessary first aid training so they are able to build the lives of the people in the rural area. Then they must, of course, of necessity, get more informed.
Experts say identifying the needs and interests of rural women, providing relevant and accessible resources, facilitating learning and support, as well as advocating policy and social change will help them attain their full potential. In Lagos, Adejoke Odeka, NTA News.
Eliminating gender barriers through provision of equal opportunities remains a catalyst for Nigeria's economic development. Experts in women and girls' rights advocacy believe achieving sustainable development goals and the nation's aspirations largely depend on providing an enabling environment for women and girls to fulfill their dreams. Joel Bubola has the report.
There is a popular saying that if you train a woman, you train a nation. This narrative stakeholders say is an attestation of the pivotal role women play in nation building. Nigerian women are well known in Africa for their sterling contributions in different spheres of life. But despite their impact, gender parity is still a thorny issue that has rendered many women passive when they are supposed to play a leading role.
When we are saying we are liberating ourselves and we want to get that equity that we desire, then we need to have conversations with ourselves such that we inculcate into ourselves that we are enough and that we can do something and achieve certain results.
Be quiet and expect change. We cannot be quiet and expect things to be done differently. We have to begin to see ourselves as an active member of the society, because this is the only way that we can indeed cause the change that we want.
For the unwanted narrative to change, stakeholders believe government need to respect international protocols on gender parity, such as Planet 50-50, while parents should also end the stereotype from the upbringing of their children.
They are right, fighting for this space. Women are not doing enough. We have women organizations, gender organizations that are doing a lot, but when it comes to individual women, they have to come to that realization that they are not just cheerleaders. They should begin to tell their political party leaders that beyond, singing, clapping, and so on, we can contribute.
Respondents say the journey to ending gender discrimination and promoting social inclusion of women should start with women and girls coming out of their shell, developing a can-do attitude, and being in the front burner of the change they desire. In Lagos, Joel Bola, NTA News.
Those are the stories from Lagos. Nationwide continues in Maiduguri after the break.
You are still on to Nationwide, and the news belt now continues in Maiduguri. Federal Inland Revenue Service was among organizations at the Government House, Maiduguri, to commiserate with the government and people of Borno over the recent flood disaster, that ravaged parts of Maiduguri and Jere local government area. They were received by the state governor, Babagana Umar Zulum. Mohammed Goni completes the story.
The executive director of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Dr. Zach Adedeji, was represented by the leader of the delegation, a coordinating director in the service, Emil Abubakar, who extended the organization's sympathy to Governor Zulum. He noted the devastation caused by the flood with resultant loss of lives and property, and noted the efforts by the authorities at providing support to the victims and rebuilding destruction done to infrastructure. Governor Zulum appreciated the FIRS for its support to the state in its trying moment and its intervention at the State University as part of its corporate social responsibility.
All the support that you have rendered to the government and people of Borno State will be judiciously utilized with a view to meeting the objectives of uplifting the standard of living of those that are affected.
Zakat and Sadakat Committee was also at the Government House to sympathize with the government led by Suleiman Olugunju, who intimated the governor that the committee has distributed over 100 million naira worth of food and non-food items to victims of flood disaster at various locations within the state capital and environs, and presented samples of the items distributed. Other organizations on a sympathy visit to the Government House include Nusaid Humanitarian Initiative, under the auspices of the Coalition of Kano Islamic Scholars, donating food and non-food items worth over 100 million naira, as well as Chinese firm managing Maiduguri power plant, announcing donation of about 11 tons of commodities in support of the victims, as well as Monguno Secondary School All Students Association donating over 5 million naira. Governor Zulum appreciated them for the show of empathy and support to the victims and urged the donors to liaise with the Flood Relief Disbursement Committee when reaching out to the victims. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
Nigerian Medical Association, NMA, in collaboration with Korea International Cooperation Agency, has flagged off free medical outreach and distribution of hygiene kits, among other series of interventions at Bakassi Camp, Maiduguri. The program was designed to ameliorate sufferings of victims of flood that ravaged a significant part of Maiduguri and environs. The report.
Though governments, non-governmental organizations, and wealthy individuals have continued to support victims of flood taking refuge at various camps in Maiduguri, this intervention by the Nigerian Medical Association, NMA, in collaboration with Korea International Cooperation Agency, can be said to be unique, as it comprised not just a free medical outreach and distribution of hygiene kits, but mass feeding program for pregnant and lactating mothers, as well as the elderly and malnourished children.
We are so happy and we appreciate everything that they are doing for us. Thank you so much.
The 7-day program, according to NMA, is expected to bring long-lasting relief to the most vulnerable persons among the victims of flood.
The NMA felt as a corporate social responsibility, we need to reach out to our people and bring priority packs for people at least to alleviate some of their hardship and complement what the government is actually doing in that regard.
We believe that with even this intervention, we will go a long way to assist a lot of our women, especially those who have been identified as even more vulnerable than the vulnerables.
The Nigerian Medical Association says it is looking forward to extending the intervention to other camps and host communities where victims of flood are taking refuge. In Maiduguri.
And that will be it for now from Maiduguri. Dennis in Abuja has more reports for us.
Thank you, Abubakar, and good to see you. Now, the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, says efforts to fully recover the national grid are still ongoing following its partial disturbance. TCN, in statements, notes that although the recovery of the grid commenced immediately, with the Azura power station providing the black start, grid recovery reached advanced stages at about 10:24 a.m. Tuesday, when it encountered a challenge that caused a slight setback in the recovery process. TCN, however, states that it continued with the grid recovery process, which has reached an advanced stage, ensuring bulk power availability to about 90% of its substations nationwide. Supply has also been restored to the Abuja axis and other major distribution load centers nationwide. The partial disturbance, TCN says, did not affect the Ibom gas generation station, which was islanded from the grid on Monday and continued to supply areas in the south-south parts of the country, such as Eket, Ekim, Uyo, and Itu transmission substations during the period. Birth registrations are vital for accurate population statistics and sustainable planning that can boost economic development. This necessitated the recent drive by the National Orientation Agency to create the needed awareness to ensure that necessary steps are taken by parents towards registering their children at birth. Gabrielle Amunike was at the flag-off in River State and now brings us details.
The initiative focuses on registering all children aged 0 to 5 years and providing them with a national identification number at no cost. Birth registration is a fundamental right, essential for both the individual and the nation. The drive highlights its significance for the child, the family, and the wider community. It unlocks access to essential services like education and health care, which are critical for development. Speaking on the initiative, the State Director of NOA, Mr. Ayo Tamuno, encouraged parents and stakeholders to take advantage of the ongoing digital registration phase to fulfill this important duty.
Our own take as an agency is to create demand for birth registration. Community orientation officers at the various local governments, particularly River State, that they are also having community engagements on the social mobilization drive for birth registration.
Other stakeholders in their goodwill messages emphasized the significance of the initiative and its impact on the future of Nigerian children.
Any country that is planning for its people would know how many people are they planning for. What are the people they have? The number of people they have that they are planning for.
We ask you to make sure we do something more credible, which is working with the National Population Commission. We have to class of certificate issued to the public. We have the one for 0 to 17 years of age. It is free and is done before now at all our registration centers across the state or the LGA.
They called for collaborative efforts between all stakeholders and authorities to ensure every child in River State gets the best start in life. In Port Harcourt, Gabrielle Amunike, NTA News.
Well, Kingsley Amajiri is in Port Harcourt now to tell us more about this all-important exercise. Kingsley, how seriously do you think the people of River State will take this exercise, and how do you think it will contribute to increased productivity for national growth and development?
Well, let's take it from that report we just watched. That is a move by the National Orientation Agency to galvanize support and a culture of families and parents and guardians buying into this e-registration for children between 0 and 5 years, which has been the campaign as spearheaded by UNICEF for residents. Even before this latest engagement, there has been this concern for planning for education, planning for health, and many see this as a welcome development at a time that, take for instance, when you come to Port Harcourt is a fast developing city. New centers and new satellite cities are springing up here and there. And in all of these locations, the concerns are there about establishing more educational center, especially a public educational center, public health institution. This registration, of course, becomes handy by providing data, and for the populace to buy into it, a number of concerned stakeholders have also said the proponents for this e-birth registration should also ensure that the processes are easy, not a cumbersome process. If the processes are easy, when families go to these centers to get registered and they are easily registered, more persons will buy into these processes. And at this time, why the national orientation agencies say it has also mobilized social mobilizers at the local council level, a number of us are concerned residents want those centers to be spread across the nooks and crannies, and also personnel should also be handy. At the national identity management agencies, where there's also that aspect of registering these children for national identity, many are also worried because at the present condition, you see, when you go to national identity management agency, there are a number of persons queuing up there to get registered for this. And when you add to this set of new births to it, I think the concern there is that there should be more hand in terms of manpower, and also the processes should be made easier for all to buy into. For development experts, this is a novel idea, and it should be bought into by all well-meaning citizens and residents alike.
All right, Kingsley, many thanks for that. Good to hear that the residents are buying into what is clearly a very important initiative. Thank you, Kingsley.
Thank you very much.
Now, Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Oil, Heineken Okpobiri, has called for stronger collaboration between the Federal Road Safety Corps and relevant petroleum sector agencies to enhance safety in the transportation of petroleum products. Okpobiri was making this appeal at a courtesy visit by the FRSC Corps Marshal, Shehu Mohammed, to his office in Abuja. Lydia Sampson reports.
Senator Heineken Okpobiri emphasized government's commitment to addressing the frequent tanker explosions posing serious danger to lives and property across the country. He said proactive measures are needed to mitigate or reduce such incidents to the barest minimum. The safety of the public, the minister says, remains sacrosanct.
Our own contention at this particular time is to collaborate with you, so that you'll be able to intensify, your efforts to ensure that only, tankers or, trucks that are certified roadworthy, that should be allowed to carry these, products. We want to also, use this opportunity to also, solicit for your support in certifying the tanker drivers that drive, these trucks.
He urged the FRSC to intensify its collaboration with the Ministry of Petroleum Resources and its key regulatory agencies, including the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, in order to achieve the highest safety standards in the transportation of petroleum products. The Co-Marshal, Shehu Mohammed, commended the minister for his proactive stance on safety. He also reiterates FRSC's commitment to partnering with the ministry and other stakeholders towards ensuring safety on the roads and safeguarding the public.
We have designed so many initiatives, like the Road Transport Safety Sanitation Scheme, whereby we make sure that not only tankers and trailers, all the vehicles in this country are being certified, and to make sure that it's only the good ones that can fly our road to reduce the crashes that we are experiencing in this country.
The FRSC boss reeled out strategies to ensure the highest level of safety in the transportation of inflammable products, including petroleum. The minister expressed optimism that the partnership between the FRSC and petroleum sector agencies will yield positive results. He also commended the FRSC for its tireless efforts in promoting road safety policies and enhancing public safety. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu has condoled with the former governor of Oyo State and the Otun Olubadan of Ibadan-Land, Rashidi Ladoja family, associates, and the Celestial Church of Christ over the demise of the former governor's wife, Tinuade. In a statement by the special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, President Tinubu notes the contributions of the Ladoja matriarch to humanity, affirming her strength in charitable works and advocacy for the welfare and education of women and children. President Tinubu praises Tinuade's selfless lifestyle and zeal in expanding the gospel, serving courageously in the highest decision-making body of the Celestial Church of Christ, pastor in council, and the women in council for many years. The Defense Research and Development Bureau's maiden annual seminar and exhibition has taken place at the National Defense College. Ministry of Defense, declaring the ceremony open, says it marks a milestone in Nigeria's quest for a robust military-industrial complex. Themed Enhancing Synergy in Research and Developments, this event underscores the importance of research and development in driving advancements, as emphasized by key industry players, including the Minister of Science and Technology and Innovation and the Chief of Defense Staff. They stressed that local technology is vital to achieving this goal, aligning with the National Technology Plan. The two-day events will showcase science exhibitions made in Nigeria. And in line with the agenda of not leaving anyone behind, the Defence and Police Officers' Wives Association has taken its health campaign Train to the junior secondary school Day to enlighten the children on basic health and menstrual hygiene tips. This, the president of the association, Ogogo Musa, says is aimed at reducing the prevalence of preventable diseases.
Prioritizing menstrual health, medical experts stressed, will improve health outcomes and enhance the dignity of the girl child. These are some of the reasons the Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association is increasing education on hygiene practices and providing economic opportunities through training on how to make reusable sanitary towels to ease the financial burden of getting disposable ones.
I learned how to take care of myself during menstruation. I learned how to calculate my menstrual cycle.
The move, the POA says, targets empowerment of students and building of their resilience for the future.
This is in line with my vision, which is to see women and girls become productive contributors to family and society, driven by a deep sense of values and hard-working spirit. Therefore, I will urge you to be committed and avail yourself to learn.
You can teach other people. You can even convert it to business.
Majority of them, their parents are very poor. They cannot afford ordinary pad like this for them. Okay, if the government can always supply such a thing to school, so that anybody that is in the position of wanting, the principal can always supply.
As they grow to become adults, it is expected that they will utilize the training to develop their entrepreneurial skills.
Let's now head over to our Benin Network Center, where Udwakobong is our guide. Hello, Udwakobong.
Dennis, welcome to Benin. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has pledged to strengthen security measures to prevent violence and maintain order throughout the governorship election in Ondo State. The State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Oluwatoyin Babalola, was speaking in Akure at a 3-day security training workshop aimed at equipping security personnel with the tools and tactics necessary to address potential threats, curb electoral malpractices, and ensure the safety of polling units across the state. Abiola Ariyo has that report.
Conducting elections successfully requires collaborative efforts involving various stakeholders, including security agencies. This training stresses the vital roles of these agencies in ensuring a credible electoral process by enhancing their knowledge and professionalism.
The training usually is to tell them or explain to them or give them or inculcate knowledge, skills, and competencies in them in respect of their role on election day.
Chairman Board of Electoral Institute, Professor Abdullahi Abdul Zuru, represented, expressed confidence that the training would positively impact the forthcoming governorship election in the state.
This training is therefore an opportunity for the Commission to further enhance synergy between INEC and security agencies and ultimately ensure that a tranquil electoral environment is provided for the deployment of electoral materials, equipment, and personnel.
They will serve as the trainers for others of their colleagues who are not opportune to be here.
It is expected that at the end of the 3-day training, security personnel in the state will be better equipped with the knowledge of the electoral process, effective risk management associated with it, and the importance of upholding human rights. In Akure, Abiola Ariyo, NTA News.
And Ekiti State Governor Biodun Yebanji has given out cash award of over 40 million naira to 82 deserving civil servants in Ekiti State as part of activities marking his second-year anniversary. The governor, during the presentation, promised to continue to provide enabling environment for Ekiti workforce to perform their duties optimally. Olukemi Sani reports.
17 out of the 82 were given 1 million naira each as Best Civil Servant of the Year. 36 got 500,000 naira each as runners-up, while 35 collected 200,000 naira consolation prizes at various categories. Governor Yebanji appreciated Ekiti civil servants for their support that has enabled him achieve so much within his 2 years in office. Reacting to some issues raised by the labor leaders, especially on the new minimum wage, the governor said every worker will have reason to smile soon.
I support the head of service in an attempt to ensure that we reward performance, and we continue to reward performance. And we continue to scale it up on a yearly basis because you deserve the best, and the best we will give you.
The head of service, Dr. Folakemi, thanked the governor for providing enabling environment for the workers to do their jobs. Some of the beneficiaries believed that the award will spur them to do more.
It has been a wonderful experience. All I can say to the people of state is hard work pays. And I also want to thank the governor for opening the vistas of opportunity for we civil servants to thrive in our chosen profession.
They described civil servants as indispensable in achieving sustainable development. In Ado-Ekiti, Olukemi Sani, NTA News.
And that's it from Benin. Nationwide continues in Abuja with Dennis, but that will be after the break. Please stay tuned.
Thanks for rejoining us in Abuja. The Universal Basic Education Commission, in partnership with the academia and key players, is setting the stage to transform the way STEAM is taught. That is, science, technology, engineering, arts and mathematics. This innovative approach provides educators with a comprehensive guide to make learning come alive in the classroom, emphasizing not just content delivery, but also fostering creativity, critical thinking and problem-solving skills.
I'm impressed with the rigorous process we have gone concerning the introduction of STEAM into basic education, which would in diverse ways assist learners to be well-grounded in STEAM education.
Methodologies are being developed to ensure that the arts and humanities are not set aside, but included in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Knowing how to get teachers
reason this way and make their presentations in a holistic form.
By integrating interdisciplinary learning, the Commission's goal is clear: to spark curiosity, nurture young minds, and empower the next generation of scientists, engineers, artists, and innovators. These are the changemakers who will shape Nigeria's future, pushing the boundaries of development and driving sustainable progress. Justice Ricardo Claudio Montero Concalves has been elected as the new president of the ECOWAS Court of Justice for a 2-year term. Following an election by the College of 5 judges of the courts, Justice Ricardo succeeds Justice Edward Amwako Asante, who led the court for 6 years since assuming office on July 31st, 2018. A statement by ECOWAS notes that Justice Ricardo was sworn in on Thursday, October 6th, 2022 in Guinea-Bissau by former presidents of the Conference of Heads of State and Governments of the Community, President Umaro Sissoko Embalo, for a non-renewable term of 4 years. The statement also confirms the election of Justice Ricardo Sengu Mohamed Koroma as Vice President of the ECOWAS Court of Justice. And with that, we conclude Nationwide. Many thanks for watching. I am Dennis Adigunloye.